What's up, everybody? I'm here with a special guest for today's show. As you can see, I'm joined by my man, the creator of the Football Banter Show, a Liverpool fan, a massive Liverpool fan. Can I call you a YouTube legend, yeah? Is that alright? We're going to go with that anyway. It's my man Drifty. How are you, sir?
How you doing, bro? I'll take that. I don't think yet, but I'll take that. I'll take that, man. How you doing, bro? Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's been a great year on here. I've been getting to chat to more and more Reds, and I should have probably touched base with yourself a little bit earlier, but you know what? Better late than ever, pal. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I'm glad to be on, man.
Well, look, let's get stuck into it. The first thing I want to talk to you about, buddy, is the Champions League. Now, I didn't know you that well, so I didn't get to see how you celebrated it, but I want to know what your thoughts were on, I suppose, the semi-final, the final itself, and the aftermath. Have you been unbearable? Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Do you know what? No, I haven't actually. And you know what? I think maybe I'm going to regret this when everyone else starts talking all their shit later on down the line next season or whatever. But I've actually been quite... Do you know what it is? I feel like this is our time. And I feel like as much as we really should be rubbing it in the face of United and Arsenal and all these other people who are not even in the Champions League and they still think they have a right to talk about us. But this is our moment and I want to celebrate this for us. You know what I mean? I don't even want to involve them. So a lot of the time, I don't even pay them any mind, to be honest with you. I think they get more wound up knowing they're not getting to us. And I feel like it speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Like, number 6, like, they know they're already pissed. So I don't even need to rub it in. I mean, you know what I mean? So I haven't been unbearable. I mean, if they keep pushing me, maybe I'll be like, all right, you know what? You asked for it. You know what I mean? But at the moment, I'm just staying humble, happy, and I'm still floating. I'm literally, it's the weirdest thing ever, but every day I'm still thinking, fucking hell, we're champions of Europe, man. It's like,
Yeah, we are.
Crazy, man.
I had expressions on for a build up before the final itself, and I couldn't bring myself to ask him to come on afterwards because I just felt that it was just pushing a little bit too much. Because I know, I got to be honest, man. I'm not too pissed that we played Spurs in the final because they're a decent bunch of supporters. I like expressions. He's a good lad.
Yeah, he is.
I was of the mindset as soon as we beat Barcelona, we were lifted the cup. I just, to me, it was. I don't mean to be disrespectful to Spurs here, but once you did what you did against Barcelona at Anfield, there was no way for me, man, Spurs were going to stop us.
Yeah, do you know what's funny? Yeah, I mean, the more you get to know me, you know, I'm kind of known as the pessimistic Liverpool fan. So I always think the worst. I always get worried. It's just and the funny thing is, not in any other aspect of my life am I really like that. It's like that's how much control football and Liverpool have over me. But the only reason I was a little bit worried is because people started to look for omens and people were like, oh, this has happened, that's happened. And coming back against Barcelona has got to be the biggest omen on the planet. It's like, well, if there's any proof, that has to be it there. You don't do that and then you don't win the cup. But when you look at the way Tottenham got past City, when you looked at the way they just about got out their group, they weren't even supposed to get out that group. Then you look at the way they came back against Ajax. I'm thinking, well, if you're looking for omens, haven't they had more along the way that make it look like this could be their time? So I didn't really want to get myself overconfident. Do you go what I mean? And I didn't want to go into it too. Plus, man like Matt, shout out to one of my colleagues from the Football Banter Show. He was like, bro, we've beaten them twice. And the sun has to shine on them at some point. And I'm like, don't say that, man, because now you're making me think, can we really beat them 3 times in one season? And do you know what I mean? So I was quietly confident. I was way more confident than I was for the Madrid game last year. Way more confident than I was for that game. But I still had a little bit of reservation going in. But we got that early goal. And then, I mean, to be fair, it's all for everyone to see. We went live and did what we call Banter Box, but it's basically a watch along. And the first goal we actually missed, Gremlins in the system. Obviously, you probably know what that's like when people in the internet world decide they don't want you to get on and you have delays. So we got on about maybe 4 minutes into the game. So we'd already missed the goal. So it was like, holy shit, what's going on here? We're already winning. So I'm trying to celebrate the goal while sorting out the camera and the computer and whatnot. But then from that moment on, you can tell I wasn't relaxed until the final whistle. I was the most nervous wreck you've ever seen in your life because that was some tense shit. Like that seriously was. They had us penned in. They played extremely well. there's no way any Liverpool fan could say Tottenham didn't deserve something on the day. They were very, very well organised. They played well. I still think we're slightly fortunate to get the goal. I think this new handball rule, I mean, I saw yesterday with the Peru and Brazil game, and the Thiago Silva handball was given, and I'm like, surely these officials now just want more goals in the games. Are they just trying to make this more exciting because they're charging us an arm and a leg to watch it? Because they're giving goals now that shouldn't even be given. So I'll hold my hands up and say we're very fortunate to get that handball decision against Sissoko. But we defended like we've been doing all season. We got the Ballon d'Or winner in goal or in defence. So we kept them out. And then Origi popped up and settled the nerves slightly, you know what I mean, with about 8 minutes to go. But yeah, man, that final was amazing. And we watched it live. So a lot of people saw me nearly have a heart attack live, man.
Yeah, we do a similar thing. We do watch-alongs as well, and I got the fright of my life that day. We did a pre-show, and we took a break for about an hour, and we were getting logged in to get set up, and then all of a sudden I see copyright infringement strike, so we were banned from live streaming. So I'm frantically ringing Spain to this fucker that had put a copyright strike against us, saying, you better take this down, pal. So he's like in broken English trying to come back at me, and I'm trying to explain how we didn't break YouTube rules. So I think 5 minutes to go before kickoff, he finally removed the copyright strike and we could go. But yeah, as you said, pal, you're right, you summed it up perfectly. We didn't play that well. Spurs can probably make an argument as to why they felt a little bit hard done by in the day, but they've all stepped up, as you said, 82nd, 83rd minute, and Spurs probably had the most chances in that last 8 or 10 minutes that they had in the entire game. Like, Alisson was stepping up, and it was, I get where you're coming from. I fully hear your respect for Spurs as well, because I mean we can look back to Istanbul and we can make a comparison to how that could have been Spurs Istanbul. But I don't know, just for me, I think we needed to get over the line. We had to get over the line, and now I'm hoping, pal, that this is the start of Liverpool starting to pick up silverware on the clock, because this team ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
No, you're right. If we don't kick on now, it will probably be almost as depressing as not winning the first 3 trophies that we failed in those finals, because we're at a stage now where we are literally, I don't want to be too overconfident and then it comes back to bite us in the arse, but I would probably say right now, I don't know what Real Madrid are going to be doing with these new signings. I mean, they probably will be good, but I don't quite know. Barcelona, who knows what they're going to be doing? Obviously, we know City are an unbelievable team, but in Europe, they still haven't quite. Are we arguably top 3 in the world right now? We must be. Yeah, we might. I mean, I don't really think many people can actually argue against us being top 3 European side in the whole world. Not just because we won the Champions League. If we played anyone in a one-on-one game, who can really beat us? So, I mean, if we don't kick on now, I mean, I want that Super Cup. I want it to all start there. I want that, you know, like where you wait for a bus and there's no bus and then 2 come at once. That's what I want. I want the Champions League and the Super Cup all within the space of a little while after going 3 years or whatever it was from Klopp coming and not winning. So I want it to start there. Maybe even pick up the Charity Shield. I'm not counting it, but it's learning how to win. You know what I mean? And then win that. And then who knows? Who knows, man? And well, obviously, I'm sure we'll get onto it later on what we expect from the season. But this has to be a moment of, okay, we've arrived. We've always been threatening, but we're here now. And what the fuck can anyone do about it if we're on our A game?
I'm not going to lie, I want that. You know that lovely little golden badge that Real Madrid have for the World Club Cup? I want one of those this season, man. I want one of our shirts. It's the only trophy you haven't won, I think, as well.
I'm quite confused. I've been trying to find out. Have we been put into that cup, or has that rule that they said they're going to change it and it won't happen this year? Because I heard with the World Club Cup, there's some kind of confusion as to this rule change and whether we'll be in it or not.
No, we're definitely in it. This year, it's in Qatar in December. The new format, I believe, is coming in 2020, I think, which is the expanded tournament that's only going to take place every few years, I believe. But this, I think, is the last year. I think they're using it as a bit of a warm-up exercise for the World Cup in Qatar. So we'll go straight in to the old-fashioned semi-final stage and hopefully win it. I still can't believe it. We haven't won the World Club Cup ever. It's one of the few trophies that isn't in Anfield, and we got to right that wrong this year. And you're right, what you said about us being one of the top 3 teams in the world, it's very easy to to say, well, back-to-back Champions League finalists. That speaks for itself. Under Jurgen Klopp, every year that he's been in charge, we're in a European final, and that just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, there you go. And obviously, people always want to hurl abuse at us and call us losers and this and that. But as Liverpool fans, we knew that we couldn't judge Klopp because every final, it wasn't his fault. Whether it would be Mignolet, whether it be Karius, whether it be Moreno, it wasn't the game plan, it wasn't the tactics, there was nothing. It was an individual mistake on every single occasion by a player who always makes individual mistakes. Let's be honest, we always know Moreno's going to make a mistake. We always know Karius, Mignolet, these Lovren, players who, not that we don't like them, but we just know there's a mistake in these guys. And those players just let him down on that day. So I was never worried about it being Klopp overthinking, Klopp not knowing what he's doing, Klopp not being able to get over the line. I always thought to myself, look, this guy lost to Bayern Munich when he was in Dortmund. He lost to Man City when he came to Liverpool. He lost to Real Madrid. These are teams that he wasn't supposed to beat with the team he had playing against them. He was the underdog, and he was an underdog for a reason. The other team had better players, had a better team. I never was worried about him with that. The only thing that worried me was he personally might start not giving up on himself, but it might start to affect him. And if he started to be bothered by it, then there'd be a problem, because if the manager loses belief in himself, then who else can motivate? So I feel we needed this win to just let him realise how good he is and not have that doubt that, am I ever going to get over the line? So I think that was the most important thing about this Champions League win more than anything, letting him know, no, you are still the best. This is working. And when we didn't have anyone who made any mistakes, we won. It was that simple.
Yeah, for me, there was some people starting to say, I mean, I did a few videos with a few opposition fans, Adam McCullough, Expressions, and Steve McKierney, and they were trying to say he's won nothing. But my argument was every season since Klopp has been in, we've improved, whether it be the squad, whether it be points total, how far we're going in competitions. And I suppose that leads us on, pal, to talk about this summer and how we could perhaps improve. Not going to lie, it's been slim pickings, hasn't it, over the past few weeks trying to figure out what's going on. We've got perhaps Firpo. Ceballos looks like he might be going to Spurs. But is there anything you've seen or you want to talk about, or anyone you suggest that we go look after?
Yeah, it's actually been hard as a fan channel with this, because you just need that little something to get you going. And all the links and all the things that have been, you can't really, I don't want to call people liars, but I feel like they kind of just have to maybe just fabricate a little bit, because even they themselves need news. Their publications, they can't just have nobody talking about Liverpool when we're basically the most interesting team on the planet right now. So I think a lot of the things are people clutching a little bit. The Pepe stuff is quite hard to know if it's real or not, because some people have said it is, some people said it hasn't. The Fekir stuff has been very intriguing, because Klopp always wants who he wants. He's a very, I don't want to call him stubborn, but I guess technically he is a stubborn man. And if he wants you, he'll get you. It doesn't matter whether he got caught on Brighton Beach in flip-flops, walking down with an ice cream and a donut. He said, you know what? All right, Virgil, we got caught, mate. I'm going to come and get you in 6 months. If he wants you, he gets you. And that's just how it is. So with this Fekir stuff, I'm a bit confused, bro, because he's half price now. And if we wanted him, why are we not back in for him? There must be a real medical issue within that was the truth. Because we felt we were being lied to. Was it this? Was it money? Was it agents? Was it them playing hardball? We even heard about stock markets and all. I don't know what the hell went on last summer. But he's half price and he's still only 25. It's not like he's over the hill. So why are we not back in for Fekir at half price? That confuses me and means it has to be an injury. Has to be, because that can be the only reason we wouldn't want to touch him now. So Maddison, that's the person I want, if I'm honest with you. A lot of people are asking me why, but I just have a feeling. I had a feeling about Robertson, and everybody was a bit and ah, and I was like, no, believe me, this boy is special. And look how that turned out. I had a feeling about Gigi Wijnaldum. A lot of people were like, oh, I don't know. I was like, no, trust me, look how that's turned out. And I've got the same feeling about Maddison. I just think if Klopp got hold of Maddison, he'd become the English Coutinho. I rate him that highly, I really do. And I'd love to to see Liverpool go and make a little 40, 50 mil bid, go and get him, and just watch Klopp turn him into an absolute gem, man.
We were really strongly linked with Maddison when he was at Norwich, and I think he picked up an ankle injury or something towards the end of that season, and the interest seemed to die off a little bit, and he went to Leicester. He's put in a fantastic first season, and I'm fully with you. I can see exactly why you want him. He ticks a couple of boxes. Like, you do need to have that certain amount of homegrown players in your squad as well. The only thing I think would perhaps stop us this year is, I wonder if he feels that he owes Leicester another year and he owes Brendan Rodgers a year. I know loyalty is slim in football, but I can imagine Brendan Rodgers in his ear saying, look, Maguire might move on. We're going to build this team around you, Jamie Vardy. They're after bringing in Yuri Tielemans as well. But I get where you're coming from, man. Circling to Fekir, I got to admit, I'm full on Team Fekir still. I mean, I'm just short of ordering the shirt, man. That's how close I am to this. And like you said, 55 million, Jean-Michel Aulas wanted from Lyon last year. This year, as you rightly said, mate, the risk is halved. The price is halved. The risk is halved. The only other genuine teams I've seen linked with him are AC Milan and Arsenal. And that kind of does play into what you were saying about, he must have one foot. His knee must be made of Weetabix or something. There must be some fucked up issue with that knee that we may never know about. But like you've said, Klopp doesn't leave people high and dry. He went back to get Virgil. We paid what I like to call the stupid bastard tax to Southampton for, you know, getting caught. And it wasn't just Liverpool. That's the really funny thing. Manchester City and Chelsea were also known to have spoken with him, but they just wanted to. They just wanted to have a little dig at us, didn't they? Because of the other business we've done with Ings, Lallana, Lovren, and other players we got from Southampton.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, it's really funny, isn't it? I mean, I'm with you. If we sign Fekir, I'd be happy. There's no doubt in my mind I'd be happy. I just do worry Klopp must know something that we don't know, because surely you would go. And I mean, I don't want to start taking pop shots at other teams. You know, it's about us right now. But AC Milan and Arsenal, I mean, if that's where he ends up, that's pretty shit. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be, if he ends up at Arsenal or he ends up at AC Milan, especially with Milan being banned now as well and having a year out of Europe, if he ends up at one of those two teams, he's definitely one of those players that was meant to be good, but it was hype, or it just was never going to happen, because there's no way he ends up at one of those two teams if he's the real deal, like an Mbappe or a Dembele or one of the players who you just know there's absolutely no doubt they are of that level and they'll improve any team they go to. So, but I mean, I'm with you. If we were to get him, I'd definitely be happy, because he is, forget the injury, he is an amazing footballer, and he's proved it for about 3 or 4 seasons. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to just wait and see, I guess.
You touched on Mbappe. I can't let you not talk about Mbappe now. We've been talking hashtag Mbappe 2020 on our stream for a little bit, and you know, you can make these connections, Drifty, can't you? You can look at him with LeBron James. You can look at him talking about Liverpool, and he used Liverpool in FIFA. You can look at him talking about wanting to win the Champions League, to win the Ballon d'Or. You can see the potential little deal, new kit deal with Nike perhaps on the horizon. It doesn't take much, man, to start connecting the dots and thinking, ooh, quiet summer this year, maybe we're saving a few quid.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not know this. I mean, most proper Liverpool fans will. We made a 42 million euro bid for him the summer before he broke through, and Klopp has wanted him from when he was around 17. You know, Klopp always knows what the talent is. He's that type of guy, because all he is about is development, which is why I love him so much as well. Forget the money. If we just want to develop players, we have the best manager in world football. It's literally that simple. So he knew the talent there, and I remember that was what made me pay attention to him, because I was like, we're bidding 30 odd million pounds for this 17-year-old. Who is this kid? So I thought, let me check this guy out. And then that breakout season he had with Monaco when they won the league, I was like, okay, I really wish we'd have got this one over the line before he actually showed the rest of the world what he can do. So we know Klopp wants him. There's absolutely no doubt that if he could get him, he would. The only thing that worries me about Mbappe never happening is, A, he really does look like he wants Real Madrid. And as much as he has been flirting with us, if we were to get him, would we just be counting down until he left? Which is something I don't really want to do as a Liverpool fan. You'd enjoy him while he was here, but I don't think I would enjoy every transfer window opening up another rumour about Real Madrid coming, are we going to lose our star man and all that crap. I hate all that rubbish. even the stuff with Mo at the moment is starting to get on my nerves a little bit because they're trying to do the whole he wants to go and all that. And the other thing is, would we ever pay 230, 250 or whatever million it would cost to get him? I can't see it. I can't see it. I know they shocked us and they paid the record for the keeper and they paid the record for Van Dijk. But I mean, 75 million is chump change to 250 million. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, I guess in the back of our minds, we can always do a little edit on FIFA or Pro, put him in a Liverpool team and dream for a little while. Do you know what I mean? But in reality, I just don't know if we could afford him, even if he wanted to, even if he publicly came out and said, I want to play for Liverpool. Unless we gave Mo to Real Madrid for like 150 and use that money, which I wouldn't want to do, I don't see where we would get 220, 250 mil from to buy him.
There's a couple of things. The Real Madrid thing for Mbappe is an example. I wonder if people would look at what's happened with Phil Coutinho. So he made no secret of the fact that Barcelona was his dream move and that was where he and his family wanted to go. He went there, hasn't worked out. He's been treated quite shit by the fans and the club, to be fair. Then you see Eden Hazard getting unveiled and the crowd singing, we want Mbappe, we want Mbappe. Liverpool are at a point, as we rightly said, where we're one of the top clubs in Europe. Players won't have the fact that that celebration of the Champions League, that won't have been lost on players around the world. They will have seen the respect and the love and the admiration that Liverpool players get. They know what Anfield's about. I just wonder if we could sell it. I get the financial aspect, man. I'm not naive enough to believe that that isn't a huge obstacle. Perhaps with Nike, you have touched on, it might take us selling Sadio, Mo, which nobody wants to do either, but God, it's worth talking about, though. It's fun to talk about, isn't it? It's fun to even be in the conversation. And there was, do you ever listen to the Blood Red podcast, the Echo podcast? There was a gentleman on there called, I think his name was Kieran Maguire. He was a football finance expert. And he came out and there was something he said caught my mind. He said, Liverpool could go and drop 150, 160 million this summer and it wouldn't put a dent in the finances because the club are so well run and we're turning a nice healthy profit at the minute. So you never know, Drifty. You never know, pal. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right. I've never ever seen us this healthy financially ever in the entirety of my life. It's a wonderful thing. It's one of the only reasons why I don't really get on FSG's back, because I agree with some of the fans who want them to put a little bit more, of their own money into what we're doing, considering that's what football is all about. We can't have the Mike Ashleys of this world who will destroy clubs by just not caring and just trying to milk them. I mean, look what's happening at Arsenal with Kroenke. You can't deny that they're being held back by their owners. It's not the club itself, it's the owner who's holding them back. So I do get where people come from a little bit with wanting FSG to put a little bit of a, put their hand a bit deeper in their pocket, so to speak. But if you flip it and you look at how financially sound we are, you cannot deny that they have done an unbelievable job of bringing us. What a lot of people want to forget, from the brink of administration, we were on shit street. And I was seriously worried. We had two cowboys who were trying to do pretty much that and milk the club and didn't care. We lost Rafa because of it. We lost players along the way because of it. We were in, those Roy Hodgson days were dark times. So
we were Royal Bank of Scotland away from calling in that debt, away from going into administration. That's all. Royal Bank of Scotland called in that debt and we were fucked.
Yeah, so I will always and forever be thankful to them for putting us back into a situation of financial strength. But yeah, they could just dip just once. I mean, come on, just once. Just dip in there, do a little crazy thing. And can you imagine if we signed Mbappe, but we didn't get rid of anybody? Ooh, I don't even want to think about that, man. I really don't, because it'll make me cream my pants, if I'm honest.
It'd be pretty sweet, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, look, I get where you're coming from with FSG, but I suppose none of us know if it's them or if it's Kloppo. We don't know if Klopp... So we've heard Klopp say before that there's a figure he's willing to go to for certain players, and if he doesn't think there's value there, he'll walk away. I guess it's something we'll never know. We're not inside. We're not privy to that kind of information. Couple of things that have gotten done or look like they're going to get done. We brought in young Sepp Vandenberg. Bayern Munich tried to pinch him right up until the last minute. He was in Melwood doing the rest of his medical, and they were still trying to get that done. 1.5 million or so looks like a very, very, very cheap fee. Did you see the size of this guy, by the way, when he met Klopp? He's no small fella. He's a big lad.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And obviously, we don't want to get too gassed up and we don't want to get too carried away because it could come back and bite us, or we could get happy and he doesn't come through. But I've heard he's actually compared with De Ligt with regards to the age and how much they rate him. Obviously, he's 1 or 2 years younger, so he's got a little bit more to prove. But if he's even being talked about in that way and we've managed to get him already, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we have just got the new De Ligt and we're just a year or two further behind in development. And before you know it, he's just going to be an absolute monster next to VVD. And everything is just all rosy in the defence, even more than it is at the moment. So I'm definitely happy with that one. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that. I think that was a good move.
Look at the youth we have coming through. We've got Trent there. We've got Robertson, who's a few years older. We've got Kiana Hoover. We've got Sepp Vandenberg. We've got Nat Phillips, who looks like he could come through as well. Adam Lewis, potential left back. So, as you said, it just takes 1 or 2 of these lads to fulfil their potential, and we've saved tens and tens of millions. Like, I mean, I'm not going to lie, De Ligt's impressive, but how much better is he than a fully fit Joe Gomez? Honestly, how much better is he, if any?
He isn't. And and again, only Liverpool fans will actually understand where we're coming from when we say this. He is arguably better than Van Dijk. That's how highly I actually rate Gomez. If you was to have Gomez fully fit, no injury problems, no worries about anything, just being able to concentrate on his football week in, week out, he is an unbelievable player. There is no attribute he doesn't have. He's intelligent, he's skillful, he's fast as fuck. He's probably, arguably, maybe the second most quickest player on our team. I think I heard that the only player quicker than him in training was, I don't even think it was Mane. I can't remember who it was.
We actually talked about this last night on a stream, amazingly. I don't know how this has managed to come up on 2 streams in a row, but we talked about this last night and somebody went and researched and they did come up with a figure that he had been clocked, I don't know if it was a training or during a game, as the fastest player in the team, Joe Gomez.
Well, there you go. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, he's composed. He knows that he is a fabulous, fabulous centre-back. He's only 22. He's probably gained a lot of experience from playing at right back, which has helped him with his technical ability, because obviously you need to be a bit more technical at right back. He's just a very, 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 very... I rate him so highly. And if we could just wave a magic wand over him and he wouldn't get an injury and we knew he would literally play every game of the season, I probably reckon we'd even outdo what we just done in regards to how little goals we'd concede and how many clean sheets we'd keep. I just think him and Van Dijk as a partnership, both fully playing at their peak, not many people are getting past that, if any. Like, that's how highly I rate him. So, yeah, I mean, De Ligt obviously has got all the hype. And this is the one thing we have to try not to get carried away with as football fans. But it's hard not to. The glitz and the glamour that the media and everybody places on a player will make you believe that that player is better than a player you already have. And we all want that shiny new signing. So we're all searching for that moment where we get it. But Joe Gomez, fully fit, he's easily on the same level as De Ligt, if not better. So, yeah, man, if he can stay fit, then I'm fully all right with that being the case.
We also don't pay silly wages. Like, we see Marcus Rashford getting 250 grand a week, Martial 250 grand a week. It's crazy. De Gea 350 grand a week apparently as well. It's madness. But while we're on the fence, man, there's one more person I want to have a quick chat about. There's no deny. By the way, how beautiful is it that we can sit here and talk about having a good defence? Because for how many years have we been looking at our goalkeeper, our centre backs, and just going, if only we could strengthen the spine. But Nathaniel Klein, on loan at Bournemouth for the second half of last season, tipped to Palace, tipped to a few other teams. But I'm not going to lie, man, I don't get what's going on with this situation, because nobody can tell me that having Nathaniel Klein in a squad as an option is not a good thing to have as backup.
No, not at all. I totally agree with you, man. A lot of people forget that the only reason why Trent is playing, I mean, obviously he's got the talent, but it was because Klein got that horrible injury and missed so much football. And up until that point, are we exaggerating to say that Klein could possibly have been Klopp's most consistent performer in his first 2.5 years at the club, or whatever it was until he got that injury? So yeah, I was really upset when we let him go in the window because I felt like we needed to have him around. I didn't really understand why we did that. I know Klopp wanted him to get some games in his legs, but when we went through that time when we were playing and we had a really makeshift defence of Milner was at right back and we had Fabinho at centre back, and we did go through a bit of a bad patch with injuries. Klein playing would have been perfect in there. So I would love to see Klein as a backup. I mean, I guess you got to look at it from his point of view. He's in his 30s now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure he doesn't want to be on the bench to a 20-year-old. As a player, that probably is a little bit embarrassing within yourself that you can't get back into the team, regardless of how good he is. He was a teenager a few months ago, and you can't get in the team over him. So from a personal point of view, I can kind of understand why Klein might want to go. But you're right, as an actual player, talent-wise, he's a 7 out of 10 every single game. He's just a solid. He's basically the James Milner of a right back, where you just know what you're going to get, and he will give you 100% and a consistent performance every single week, man. So I would have no qualms with us keeping him as the backup, none whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a situation that's intrigued me for a long time. Even when just before he went to Bournemouth, he came in against United, did a really good job, and then we hear all of a sudden that he's gone out on loan. It is strange. Couple of more things, mate, before I let you go. Firstly, I just want to get your hopes or your thoughts for the upcoming season. What are you expecting from the Reds, and what to you would probably constitute a good season?
I know what I want. I want that Premier League, man. I want that Premier League. A lot of people will think I'm crazy. I mean, not for the hysteria and the joy and everything that we got from the Champions League. That's irreplaceable. It's absolutely, it's priceless. But if you'd have asked me to crash out against Barcelona in that second leg, respectfully, maybe 2-1 or 3-1 or something like that, where we didn't embarrass ourselves, or 2-0. A scoreline that wasn't embarrassing at all, but we just didn't make it, and we went out the Champions League. And then Brighton kept that 1-0 lead on the final day and we won the Premier League. I would have taken that. I would have taken that because the Premier League is the one that I wanted. We've had the pleasure of winning the Champions League, not just on numerous occasions over our lifespan, but even as adults, we've witnessed it. Istanbul was the greatest moment in football. So we know what that feels like. And not that we didn't want it again, but I don't know what it feels like as a grown-up to win the league. That was what I needed to feel like. I needed to feel like champions of England is the thing that we can go on about. So I want the Premier League this season, but I'm not stupid and I'm not naive. They're going to go and do it again. They've just splashed, was it 70 million euros on Rodri or whatever it was. There's talk they might even be able to beat Man U to get the Maguire deal. Man City are just playing Monopoly with the way they doing this crap. And we have to be honest with ourselves. Beating them is going to be probably even harder this season, just down to the fact that now that they know we're about it, I think that Pep is going to be even more motivated. We took them a bit by surprise this season. I know they didn't expect us to make up a 27-point gap in that short of a space of time. So I know that's why they're not messing around. They are going to be trying everything they can to strengthen. And it's one of the only reasons I'm a little bit worried about our lack of transfer activity, because at the beginning of the summer, I, like probably a lot of other Liverpool fans, were like, this squad is amazing. It isn't really like we need to really do much to the squad. And I've never really gone into a summer thinking like that. But after a conversation with a few people and whatnot, they made me realise that complacency is the worst thing you can have in football. And they're right. If we don't try to strengthen, how can we win the league if we keep the same team that couldn't win the league last year and Man City have improved? It doesn't logically make any sense. There's no valuable argument to say we keep the same team, they get a few better players, and we can beat them when we couldn't even do it last year. Meaning we do need to bring people in. And I think that's what's worrying me more than anything, is that we just look like we're so content with who we have. And don't get me wrong, we trust in Klopp, we do. But you still have to be logical in your own thinking and your own argument and think you can trust in him as much as you want. You have to strengthen if the opposition, who are already better than you, are strengthening. But I want that league. I want that league. And including the Super Cup, and now I know we are in the World Club Cup, we've got to win 2 trophies. That means that we will be going for 6 trophies in total this season. And even if it is the League Cup, we need 2 trophies out of those 6. We do. We're good enough. There's absolutely no way we can't achieve that. I want the league. I definitely want the league. But my aim for the season is 2 trophies, whichever ones it may be. I want 2 trophies from this season.
The thing about Manchester City, I suppose maybe I'm just pinning my hopes on this, is we know they've got the FFP stuff. We know they have a potential ban coming their way from UEFA, which of course they'll appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. But what I'm thinking here, Drifty, is they're going to go balls out to try and win the Champions League this season. And there's going to be a lot of media scrutiny on them. There's going to be stories breaking. There's going to be pressure coming from UEFA. There's going to be journalists on their back. And I wonder, or maybe I'm just hoping, that might be a bit of a destabilising factor for the league campaign.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I really do hope you're right. Because if I'm honest with you, there's a part of me that believes, as much as I wouldn't have actually wanted it to happen, because obviously hindsight is a bitch, if they'd have beat Tottenham, we would have been playing them in the final. And Lord knows that I did not want to play. If they'd have beaten us in the final, oh my God. But if you flip it, would they have been able to get those victories that they got in those very, very intense, tight games against Leicester, against Burnley, in that run-in, even the away game against Crystal Palace in the run-in, if they were in the Champions League still and they couldn't just rest people, they didn't have a whole week to prepare, people could have got injuries, people could have been fatiguing, even mentally fatiguing. Who knows? We might have ended up Premier League winners if they'd have gone all the way in the Champions League, because they may have slipped up in the Premier League. We've already got the proof in the pudding. We weren't going to slip up. We did both. That's how amazing we were. We did not give up in the league, won every single game, chased them right to the end, and we won the Champions League. Who knows whether they could have kept that same level of consistency in the league if they'd have had other games to concentrate on, or maybe a few injuries. We'll never know, but I believe it's a very big possibility they could have drawn one of those games and we'd have actually won the Premier League. So you're right. You're definitely right. They could maybe take their eye off the ball. And the one thing is, I've spoken to quite a few Man City fans, and this is when you just know that there's just no history involved in that club whatsoever. They all tell me they don't want the Champions League. They just want the Premier League. Now, I get the Premier League is a phenomenal trophy to win, but if you don't want the Europa League, you just don't, the European Cup, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. Like, for me, that just sums their fan base and their club up. You know what I mean? They've just got all this money on this sugar daddy situation, and they just don't really get what they're doing with the money. Do you know what I mean? Money doesn't buy class, as we say. So maybe they won't go as hard for the Champions League as we think they will, because maybe they're not necessarily as bothered about it. But I think Pep Guardiola himself, he is the one who's bothered about it. So you could be right. You could be right. They could take their eye off the Premier League thinking we just done back-to-back. Why keep on trying to win that when we've already won it, when we need to win the thing we haven't won? So you're right. They could take their eye off the ball. And if they do, we need to be there to capitalise immediately. Immediately, man.
I tell you who does want to win that Champions League, and that's their owners, because they want to feel like they have a seat at the big boy table. They want to establish Manchester City as a proper brand in world football, and you don't bring in Pep Guardiola for trying. They'd won the Premier League before Guardiola came in. The fans can kid themselves as much as they want. Guardiola was brought in there to win the Champions League, and he didn't do it at Bayern Munich. He hasn't done it so far at Manchester City. It's the only little small criticism you can have of what is an absolutely phenomenal manager. I won't belittle Pep Guardiola. I've enjoyed watching his teams play football. He's an excellent manager. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Look, pal, before I let you go, I just wanted to get your thoughts on fan culture and fan channels and how this phenomenon is after coming around in the past few years. Obviously, from a Liverpool perspective, you've got the two big boys. You've got Redmen TV, you've got the Anfield Rap, but then you've got the little boys like ourselves, yourselves, and all those other amazing channels. You've got Mark Goldbridge with the United Stand. You've got Arsenal Fan TV. You've got so many other channels out there doing their bit, and it is, for me, beautiful that we get to do this, man, and we get to chat football with other people around the world.
Yeah, no, it is, man. It's a wonderful thing. One of the main things that I took from it was it's really, really nice to just come together with people you wouldn't get an opportunity to normally come together with. I've got a few people who I'm quite friendly with from all corners of the world now, and that wouldn't have been possible without this. And obviously, you get the odd people who are horrible and whatnot, but that's just the nature of the beast, and you get the trolls and the people who are never happy and never satisfied. But on a whole, there's just so much love between everybody, and you know, bringing us together, meeting people, even like ourselves, you know, becoming friends and getting to know each other over social media and stuff. It's just a wonderful thing. It's just something that cannot be underestimated, you know what I mean? And I do definitely think that the fan channel culture is something that will grow. Remember, we're in the experimental stage. I know people have been doing it for maybe 4 or 5 years, but this is right at the beginning, and it will only get bigger. And eventually, I think people will realize we're the real people and we're the real reason football is what it is. Therefore, our voice is just as important, if not more, than the ex-pros and the people who think they're above it and don't really need to listen to what we say and stuff. But no, man, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, just the other day, I was out for my birthday, and a guy I walked into the bathroom, and the guy was like, "Holy shit, it's Drifty!" And I was just like, "How you doing, bro?" And he's like, "Bro, I watch you from Canada. I cannot believe you're here." And I was like, "That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing." Like, I just went in to take a piss, and there's a guy who's watched me from across the globe in the same room. It's amazing. It is amazing. So I hope we all grow together. That's the one thing as well. We need to all be about each other. It's not trying to be the best. It's not about trying to climb to the top and whatnot. It's about dragging ourselves, everybody up together. Let's all get there together, and let's just share in what is, well, especially from our point of view, one big massive family. I don't care if it sounds like we're being biased. Liverpool is the best fan base on the planet. We are not just a fan base, we are a family, and that is the main thing. So, you know, I mean, you get people in every family that you're not really that fond of, but you just get on with it, you know what I mean? So, no, man, I just love everything about it. I'm glad I'm a part of it. And it's just one of them things where you're not even in it for fame, you're not in it for any of that. You just want to talk about what the most passionate thing in the world is, and that's Liverpool Football Club. And nothing will ever stop me from loving this club. I will never stop loving this club. The passion is real. It's the only thing that really depresses me. It brings me the ultimate joy. And yeah, man, I just love everything about it, bro. I just love everything about it.
So much to go through there. Firstly, man, happy birthday. I said it to you on Twitter, but I didn't get to say it to you in person.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Hope
man.
you had a great day. Yeah, it's lovely. As you said, where else are you going to get to touch base with Reds from all over the world? And I think what resonates with a lot of Liverpool fans, or I suppose fans of any channel, is you can watch BT, you can watch Sky, but you know they're not giving you the truth. You know they're holding back their opinions. Whereas if you tune in, you watch yourself, myself, you watch Mark over at the United Stand, or whoever it might be, you're getting unadulterated passion delivered the way I think fans really speak. And I think that's what resonates with people here, man, is we speak like the average fan on the or the street speaks, and we don't hold ourselves to any standards. We don't think our shit doesn't stink. We don't think we're anything special. We're just fans, and we're in a very fortunate position that the channels have taken off a little bit. We've a bit of a platform, and it's important to try and use that platform to spread love and a positive message.
Yeah, no, definitely, man, definitely. And every time I see people growing, it makes me happy. It genuinely makes me happy, man. I'm happy for everyone. I mean, Robbie just hit the million. I know Robbie personally. I have the pleasure to know him personally, and he's such a nice guy, and he deserves it, man. People don't know the hard work that he puts in. And obviously, as a YouTuber, as an influencer yourself, you know, I think a lot of people underestimate how hard this is. Like, I think they feel like you just pick up a camera and you just do it, and that's just it. the financial sacrifice, the equipment that we need, the time, the preparation, the scheduling, the planning. It is really, really difficult to do what we do. It is not an easy thing, but the passion and the love just keeps us going, and it makes it feel easy because we love what we do. And at the end of the day, all you want to do in life is enjoy what you do, and we love it, man. So yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
It has been an absolute pleasure. I'm so pissed off at myself it's taken this long to get in touch, man. But look,
it's a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me, man.
guys, don't forget, go over, check out Drifty. I'm sure you guys know about him already. The Football Banter Show. You can find him on Twitter. His Twitter handle is there on his image. He can't see it right now, but you guys can. It's been a pleasure having you on, guys. We'd love to hear your comments in the section below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But Drifty, I hope to catch up with you real soon, man. And again, happy belated birthday. It's been a real pleasure having you on.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. And we're going to return the favor and get you on our channel soon. Don't worry. So we'll be doing a lot more stuff together. So people, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you stay tuned.
Nothing but love, brother. Nothing but love. Take care, folks.